Hey, it's Dave too, and in today's video, I'm not only going to be teaching you about my astral temple meditation, but I am inviting you to it. So you are welcome to follow the steps, and no matter how far it goes, just give it a shot and come meet us there. I've been meaning to make this video for quite a while. In the podcast with Remote Viewing Mysteries, Orion, I mentioned that I've owed him this video for a while because I taught him this quite a few months ago, and we've been doing it on our underground Discord, which is the super secret place that I can't talk about, even though we have a YouTube channel. And yeah, it's just kind of fun. So everybody's been doing this meditation. We've all been kind of having the same sort of experiences, and I can totally share it, and everybody's totally welcome to come do it. It's actually a personal thing where you're probably going to end up with Gnosis and life-changing experiences if you do that. So there's the disclaimer and warning. Warning, it'll change your life. All right. Where do we get started? I was also going to post this video probably sometime next week anyway, because I'm about to be releasing my remote viewing method, the IMAS stuff that I do where I'm talking into the mic and recording. There's a whole methodology behind that. I'm not really just sitting there like trying to get impressions. There's really a bunch of levels that I go through to request data. And the foundational thing that I do is if I were to start training somebody in it today, the two things I would have them do are this meditation and to figure out what they want in life, to really set their intent of what they want and where they want to go. So for this meditation, you should work on ideal conditions is blocking all of your sensory input. So I use a Manta eye mask. I also use loop earbuds. And I try and get everything as dark and quiet as possible. Second step, basic meditation. So in Initiation into Hermetics by Franz Bardon, he recommends 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. That's really just a starter where you are trying to get to a point of focus. So you're not thinking about anything at all. You're not in the future. You're not in the past. You are coming down to that present moment. You're not thinking up here. You're not thinking down there. Here. And that's really like the starting point of what you want to do. Now, if you combine that morning and nighttime meditation with an astral temple meditation, things will get interesting. If you go look up what an astral temple is, you will get a ton of information on it. And typically what it is it's for magicians and astral travelers and such, where it's kind of like a personal thing that you go construct in your mind. I'm going to be kind of instructing something different where you're going to go there and you're going to observe it. Okay. So after you reach that point of focus in this, then I like to do something that I learned from Robert Bruce's book, Astral Dynamics. If you want to get into this stuff, that's just a fantastic resource to get into anyway. He recently passed away, or as I would say now, transitioned. And that was foundational in all of my understanding of this. I think I read it at least like 15 years ago. So it's phenomenal. What this exercise does is it gets you into MABA, mind awake, body asleep. So there's that point of focus, but it's also going to make it so that you don't feel your physical body. And that is pretty foundational for this. All you have to do is you take that focal point of awareness and then you start moving it from head to toe on your physical body. So you can start in one of your big toes and kind of like trace every little thing. You spiral up your leg inside and out. And as you do that, you kind of like lose feeling in your whole body. And then you do that on both your legs, up your spine. You're tracing absolutely everything down your hands, up your neck, through your face and everything. And when you get to that moment, it's very weird because the other thing that we're going to talk about is proprioception. The ability to understand where your hands are in relation to stuff. It's spatial awareness for your nervous system. In the training method, the remote viewing methodology that I will be sharing shortly, I am saying that proprioception is the dominant sense that you have, not anything else. It's that. So even if you don't see anything in this meditation, you should be able to spatially feel where it is. Everyone kind of has that. Some people have aphantasia where they can't visualize it, but you don't need the visualization. Like echolocation, you should be able to feel where it is. So you have gone to a single point of focus. You are now in mind awake, body asleep. Some other things you can do is I do breathing exercises. HeartMath is absolutely great for heart rate variability training. I do 4 breaths into my 4 heartbeats in. So like 1, 2, 3, 4 in, 1, 2, 3, 4 out. And you just breathe in and out consistently like that. From there, you are a floating point of consciousness. And what you can do is you can move that awareness outside of your body. It's the first step in Robert Bruce's book to induce an out-of-body experience. Now, it's not going to be a true OBE in this regard because that's like a visceral 4K experience where you're viscerally pulled from your body. This is like a mental projection. Or if you actually like went through and recreated your body, it would be what's known as the second body state. So you move that awareness slightly outside your head. You can visualize the room around you. You can imagine it, or you can just try and perceive what the room would be. And from there, we are going to zoom all the way out into space. So I'm going to look at my notes real quick for this. And when you do this, the motion should be continuous. You shouldn't be skipping. You should be like pop, 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 pop. It should be entirely smooth as you go out. Now, when you start, if you've never done this before, it's okay if you skip. Just try and make sure that you are trying to at least see it smoothly because it is important and it does pull you into the experience. So you're in your room. You should go through the top, see the roof of your building, see your neighborhood, the city, the state, the country, the continent. Then you start to see the curvature of the earth. Then you see the whole earth there. You may see the moon. At that point, you can turn around. And a lot of people, when they instruct somebody about how to build an astral temple, they'll tell them to build it right there. Since we're doing the Dave 2 version, which is taking everything a little bit further, you can skip this part if you want, but I'm going to tell you what I do. I turn around and then I keep going. So I go past the moon. I go past all of the planets. I go past the Oort cloud. I zoom out of the galaxy. I see where Earth is in some arm of the galaxy. I go past that, past all these other galaxies, all the way to the edge of the universe. And then when I'm at the edge of the universe, the distance between here and here, if that's the same distance between this and the edge of the universe, I go that much further. So true infinity, like you were trying to go as far away as possible into the nothingness void. And that's what works for me. Infinity is another concept that we're going to visit again in a little bit. So proprioceptively, with your spatial awareness, you should feel where the temple is supposed to be. And because I'm a remote viewer, the main difference of what I do for the temple is if you go look up any astral temple resources, they're going to tell you to use your active imagination to create it. I am going to tell you the opposite. In remote viewing, we talk about the subconscious delivering the data to the conscious mind. And I talk about getting into an observer state. And the observer state is where consciously I am only thinking about listening to the data that is coming in. When we are trying to distinguish between data that we're getting in that's psychic and our imagination, we call that the process of discernment. That may be hard to do, but at least try and give this a shot. So as a remote viewer, instead of going there and visualizing my temple, which I have one that I visualized and I've done that, I want you to observe it. And the way that you can observe it is the same way that Carl Jung recommends for active imagination, which is you go through and you activate all of your senses. In remote viewing, that's called stage 2. In my method, I call it level 3. And that's where we're going to run down all those senses. Now, for all the physical senses, the 5 senses, there are also 5 clairsenses, like clairvoyance is sights, clairaudience is hearing, I think clairsentience is feeling, clairgustance, and such. So really run down those. Try and stick not your physical hands out with your body, but stick your mental hands out and just start touching everything. Typically, what I experience is, and I wish I didn't do this, but Edgar Cayce described the Akashic records as a Greek-like temple, I believe, or like a Greek library type thing. And then he walked in the front door, and there was God there, and God was the librarian. And this was so long ago, so maybe like this isn't real and maybe got memory hold, but this is what I remember. And he was saying that was his representation of knowledge, and God, being this old man with a beard, was his representation of what that should be. But I think he said it could just as easily be like a beam of light. Now, when I go do this, that's exactly what I end up observing. It usually looks like some sort of Egyptian-esque temple. It's turned into Greek. There's been all of these various things. Now, as you're trying to observe the temple instead of imagine, that thing will change quite often. And it typically changes when like a significant event happens while you're meditating in it. And then like you come back and it's like a brand new mission. So that's just like some context there. Now, as you're feeling it, and it technically isn't a Greek temple. It isn't Egyptian. It isn't anything. I think it's that Edgar Cayce concept of that is your mind's way of making sense of the ineffable. You can't really explain this. It's not three-dimensional. It's not anything, but here you are proprioceptively, three-dimensionally experiencing it. So typically what I experience, and if you might want to pause actually, because part of the fun part of this is feedback, where in remote viewing, you don't know what you're looking at under blind conditions. And then you go there and you experience something. And when you go and you have the experience and then you get validation that's how you know that you're doing things that are psychic and not just imagining. But what I experience is a bunch of steps going up. I walk up those steps. I typically do the Monroe Institute body box thing where I drop all my baggage from life into this box. Then I continue on. There's two enormous doors to the temple. Those kind of open up for me automatically. And then I go in there and it's a big room. If you want to visualize the room more, the visualization for it, like I said, is full sensory. You can go up to the walls. You can put your ear up. You can knock. You can listen for how that sounds. You can lick the walls. Go lick everything. Get super weird with it. It'll make a 4K lucid dream-like experience for you. Now, for meditating in the temple, very similar. Some of the other stuff earlier is very similar to things that they do in the Monroe Institute Gateway tapes. In Gateway, they have you do resonant tuning, and that's where you make your body vibrate. I highly recommend that. I use a tuning fork. So this is a 432 for the third eye. I'm using the 432 scale. And you can put these up to your ears. Gets pretty vibey and wonderful. And there's various chants that you can do. You can say Om. And putting your lips together will make your whole body vibrate. That's great. Do that for a little bit. And then after you do it audibly with your physical body, do it mentally as well, because you want to get everything vibrating together. After that, you can use another concept from the Monroe Institute. The Mind Awake, Body Asleep is Focus 10. The next thing that you do in any gateway session is REBAL. And you've probably heard me talk about that on the channel if you've been already watching. I use it in my day-to-day remote viewing exercises. What it is you visualize energy spinning up your body, coming out the top, going around your body, and you make what's known as a resonant energy balloon. It's crucial in Gateway. It's used in the ERV protocols from David Morehouse for psychic protection. I use it in all my work, so I do it here as well. And the reason why is that Focus 12 is expanded awareness in Monroe. If you're not getting this, I highly recommend going check out the Monroe Institute as well. So getting back to the concept of infinity, you've made this torus field around your body. You're cycling it through. It's coming out. And it's only a couple feet outside of your body in this temple in your imagined space. The next thing that I do is I expand my awareness to infinity. So you take that bubble, you go everywhere this way, everywhere that way, and everywhere this way. And what that does is you no longer have a bubble, but you are aware of everything, everywhere. All space, all time, all of it. You've expanded your awareness to the all, God, source, the matrix, whatever model you want to put on it. Now, at that point, you can kind of just sit there in silence, go back to that present moment focus, and kind of just sit there and observe. For me and for others, weird things happen. This is where you get personal gnosis and cool experiences. I'm not going to go any further with any of that stuff, but if you want to have a psychic unfoldment, this is kind of like the number one thing that I would recommend doing. So the other thing that you can do, and the timely thing for this video, is I was wondering if one of the reasons why I put the video off is the Hill. I just released that Hill video where it's talking about a place to go. If you want to come here and you want to meet with others, you can totally do that. We've talked about doing that inside of the underground, where it's like, can we go meet up and have a group experience here? You totally could. Other people would be doing the same meditation. So just like a dial, you could try and tune into the frequency of someone else who also wants to. So like the concept of being public. And as you'll see, there are many temples and many different experiences. So you could tune into a public one and try and have an experience. Now, just like I was talking about with feedback and remote viewing, you may never get feedback to know if what you did is real, never know if the conversation is real. I don't care. I just like having fun experiences. When I was doing the Robert Bruce Astral Temples or Astral Travel stuff, I was a hard atheist. And I would argue with people about it, and I'd be like, yeah, but this experience feels real to me. So I don't really care if it's real or not. I'm really having a 4K visual experience that's visceral, that's changing my life. So have fun with that. Do that. Try and meet up with people. Try and talk. It's a good time no matter what. Now, whatever you do with your meditation, if you want to go meet up with people, just get personal gnosis, have a psychic awakening, all that stuff is up to you from this point on. After you're done with the meditation, do the same thing to zoom back to your body. So take that spatial awareness, that motion, and seamlessly leave the temple, go down the steps. Either you're already outside of Earth, or you're like me, and like you got to go back to the universe, back to the galaxy, back to the arm, back to the solar system, through the Oort cloud, past all the planets, past the moon, see the Earth, zoom down to the atmosphere, your continent, country, state, city, neighborhood, top of your house. And as you come through the top of your roof, you get back here and you try and align everything back up. And then you say merge and you open your eyes. And that's kind of about it. Now, another thing in all like magic and mysticism stuff is you always go start a journal of everything. In remote viewing, you have like a database of all your work. You write a journal. It's like lucid dreaming. The number one recommendation is start writing all of your dreams down. Write down everything that happens in your temple meditation. So same thing. I probably have like 13 or 14 different journals now of all the weird stuff that I do. But yeah, this is the foundational thing. One of the top two things that I would give every person aspiring to get into this stuff to do. All of the things that I said can get very lucid and very clear. Not over time, not like overnight though. I'm in my mid 30s now. I started doing this in my teenage years. I don't think I even got anywhere close to what I'm experiencing now on this visceral level until maybe I was 25, about 10 years ago. So it could take some time. Don't worry about it. Don't worry if you're skipping through the visuals, trying to get stuff. Just have fun doing it, and who really cares? So you are welcome to do anything with this. And coming up soon will be my full training on my methodology. It's kind of deep. It's way too technical, but it should be good. So hopefully this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions and comments. I will try in the comment section. I will try and include all of the resources that I possibly can on this stuff, the links to the various things to go look into. This is definitely like a big journey. And yeah, there's a other video on my channel as well, the EG, where I'm hooked myself up to some brain stuff. I think I was using the other one, the Muse 2 over here. And I go do my astral temple meditation. You can see the alpha brainwaves for high visualization going on. And yeah, I think that's about it. So if I forgot anything, sorry. So thanks for watching.